Imagine you have a list of anything. For example, a list of invoices. You often need to add information for each list item. Let's say, a payment date for each invoice. That information exists in a separate list, often in a completely different order. No matter how large your list is, with a lookup function, which you will learn in this video, Excel can pull that in automatically in just a split second. The modern lookup function in Excel that can do everything older lookup functions can do, and more, is XLOOKUP. You don't need to know any older lookup functions like VLOOKUP. By the end of this video, you will confidently use XLOOKUP, the modern, more powerful, and easier to use lookup function. One thing you need to know before moving on to XLOOKUP is cell references. A cell reference is simply the name of a cell. What is a cell? When you look at an Excel sheet, you see vertical columns and horizontal rows. Where those rows and columns intersect, they form small boxes called cells. Each cell has a name or a reference. For example, the name of this cell is C5 because it's in column C and row 5. Now you're ready to jump into the XLOOKUP function. XLOOKUP works with almost any kind of data. For this example, you'll focus on matching invoice numbers with their payment dates. For the sake of convenience, we're using a short list of invoices here. But everything you learn here works even if your list is tens or hundreds of thousands of rows long. First, let's look at some common situations you face in Excel when you need to find and match data. Let's start with the easier case. Suppose you have two lists with the exact same invoices, but in completely different orders. That means invoice numbers at the top of one list might appear at the bottom or the middle of the other, and so on. One of the lists, the one on the right here, includes payment dates. And the goal is to show the correct payment dates for the list on the left. The easiest way to do this is to sort both lists the same way. For example, alphabetically by invoice number. Once they are aligned, you can copy and paste the payment date column, and you're done. But in real life, you almost never get that kind of simplicity. For example, this time, if you look at the list on the right, you'll notice it includes many invoices that don't exist in the list on the left. In that case, sorting and copy-pasting no longer works. That's exactly where lookup functions come in. Now we are writing a formula using the XLOOKUP function. You only need to write the formula just once for the first row. Then, apply it to all remaining rows in just a fraction of a second. To write the formula for the first invoice, you select the first cell. Once the cell is selected, you can finish the formula in the formula bar, because the formula bar gives you more space than the cell itself. So, you start any formula by typing equals, then the function name. The function name, in this case, is XLOOKUP. After any function name, you always add opening and closing parentheses. This is the general format for any function. That is, the function name, followed by parentheses. Inside those parentheses, you enter inputs separated by commas. For XLOOKUP, the first input you enter is the value you want to find a match for. That value, in this example, is the invoice number here, because you're trying to find the payment date for that invoice. The cell reference for that invoice is A2. So, you enter A2 as the first input in the parenthesis, then comma. After the comma, you enter the second input, which is a group of cells in the other table here, containing invoice numbers. That range of cells runs from cell E2 to cell E14. So you type E2, E14. This tells Excel to first look at the first input, which is an invoice number represented by cell A2, and find that number in the range of cells on the other table, which is represented by the second input, E2, E14. Once Excel finds the invoice, you want it to locate and bring the payment date for that invoice. So, for the third input here, you enter the group of cells containing the payment dates, which is F2, F14. At this point, you're basically done writing the XLOOKUP function. To recap, XLOOKUP first looks at the invoice number, which is A2. Then, it searches for that number in the invoice column on the right, which is E2, E14. Once it finds that invoice number, it then pulls the payment date of the invoice from the payment date column, F2, F14, and displays that payment date here. When you press Enter on your keyboard, you'll see the result of the formula, which, in this case, is the payment date of the invoice, the formula found from the other table. Now, what about the rest of the invoices? You don't need to rewrite the formula. All you need to do is copy the first formula and paste it into all the rows below. To easily do that, click inside the first formula and point to the bottom right corner of the cell until you see this cross sign. Then, double-click or hold and drag your mouse all the way to the last row. That automatically reproduces the first formula for each of the invoice lines below. As you can see now, we have the payment dates for each invoice here. But you probably noticed that there are some errors on some of them, shown by #n/a. You can easily fix that. First, make sure the range of cells you used in the formulas are absolute cell references. What does that mean? Well, currently, if you look at the formulas, the cell references E2, E14, F2, and F14 are all relative cell references. I know you are probably asking what in the world are absolute and relative cell references. We will come back to that. But first, let's convert these cell references into absolute cell references. That is super easy. All you need to do is select them all, like this, and on your keyboard press the F4 button. That is it. All that did is add the $sign to each of the characters in the cell references. There is not that much difference between absolute and relative cell references. They just behave differently when you try to copy and paste them. If you want to take a close look at that difference, there is a link at the end of this video that clarifies the difference between absolute and relative cell references with detailed examples. Now that we changed the range of cells into absolute expressions, if we copy the cells down now, it looks a lot better. There is only one error here. That is because it did not find this invoice in the table on the right, because it is just not listed there. Simple. But instead of showing this technical symbol, you can modify the formula a little bit to show a meaningful value whenever data is not found to match. To do that, go to the first formula and add an optional input at the end here. Add a comma at the very end, and in quotations, put anything you want, for example, not found. Then, copy the formula down, like so, and boom. Now, when there is no matching value listed in the source table, it displays not found, just like you told it to. That is all you need to know about XLOOKUP to perform most common matching work efficiently. But if you expect your lists or tables to grow, or your tables or lists are tens of thousands of rows long or more, you can simplify the formula even more. Go to the first formula, and instead of the range E2, E14, just type E, E. That will make Excel look through the entire column E, not just the short list E2 to E14. Do the same thing for the other range of cells, F, F. Then, as usual, copy that down to the last line. And you're done. Just know that using the entire column option, like E, E, makes Excel work a little slower, because it has to look through the entire columns. All right, now you know how to use XLOOKUP to find and match data, whether the data are related to invoices, customers, inventory, or anything even outside accounting or business settings. Great. That is it for now. Thanks for watching, and take care.